it's that permission and authorization thing again.
Weird.
Isn't that weird?
Because it's not like you haven't done a
right
one, and because they say it expires after X and no.
I guess I'll just have to leave it for now, but gosh, that's just frustrating as the devil.
Well, are you on Facebook on your laptop?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. No. Get Laura in here. She's late! She's always late.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Facebook.
Looks good on you. You planned that, right?
Big show right here on 103.5 FM.
Hi.
Hello.
Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Hey, when I'm not on the radio,
Don't you look
I'm
lovely?
working with folks just like you to help them buy and sell homes. I'm proud to say that my
I like
team,
your Cardinal
the
shirt.
has
Say
been
again?
helping people buy
Like
and sell
Vermont?
homes in the greater Sun Prairie area for
My,
over
I
feel like
10
I'm
years.
sitting on
I have
the
nothing
floor.
Information
printed.
about buying and selling a home is
You
available
feeling
on our
alright?
website,
Oh, wow, okay.
thebakerrealtygroup.com.
I knew there had to be a
Or
good
you're
reason.
low by searching
I know,
the
I
Baker
feel like I'm
Group,
sitting on the
or
floor.
by
I
calling
feel like I'm in a kiddie seat.
608-575-6731.
I need a booster seat.
It's
alright.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show with Bill Baker and Laura Stanfield. Brought to you by the Baker Realty Group.
Welcome to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show with your host, Bill Baker.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Bill Baker, and glad to be with you in this first Wednesday in July. Wow, I can't believe it's already July, because the summer seems like it's going like, I don't know. When you're a kid, it just seemed fast. Now it seems faster. I don't know why, but yeah, it's going very fast. But here at the 103.5 FM stations, we're always here, glad to be chatting with you and sharing information and talking and all that good stuff. So glad to have you here. We're underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie, the Baker Realty Group, and of course, Wintrust Mortgage. Now, this show would not be what it is if we didn't have the most amazing mortgage lender in existence in the whole universe, sitting across the table.
Oh, wow.
And
I wish that were true.
That's Laura Stanfield from
not
Wintrust
true.
Mortgage.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. The sun's shining and it's not raining.
Yeah,
So it's good. It's
I
a good
know.
day.
For now.
I know. Tomorrow's another rainy day.
now, I
No,
know.
Friday. Tomorrow should be nice.
We're having a bunch of ducky days.
We are.
Ducky, duck, 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 duck.
I feel like we're Seattle, not Madison.
Oh, I know. You said that the other day. I thought that
Yeah.
was funny.
I'd have never lived or even been to Seattle, so I don't know. But I
Yeah.
hear it's rainy, rainy, rainy.
Could be.
Yeah,
Could
oh
be,
well.
could be, you know.
Everything's green.
I like
That's
it.
the good thing. Haven't had to water my garden or my flowers a whole lot, so.
Only
There's
the
the
flowers in the
rain.
underhang
Oh.
on the porch.
Oh yeah,
Those need to be
maybe.
watered.
Maybe those.
Yeah.
Mm.
I knowed it.
I don't put them there anymore just because.
Oh no?
No, I don't want to forget, and they need enough sun and rain and all the natural elements, you know. So
Okay.
I just leave them out where they can get it all.
I like that.
Yeah,
Good idea.
good idea.
I got them hanging
You got them
with my
hanging.
wind chimes.
Ooh,
Love my wind chimes.
some good feng shui.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
cool.
Big ones. Probably
Nice.
about 4 feet high.
That is big. I've never noticed those.
Big ones.
On the front porch.
Big ones. Yep.
Okay. I don't know how I haven't noticed them.
Yeah.
I go in the back door to take care of Kit Kat, not
That's
the front
and
door.
Thank you.
Right?
How'd you like your bourbon balls?
Yeah, they were interesting. It's really sugary though.
You don't like them?
No.
Oh, well, that's okay. won't
I
buy
like
them
the
anymore.
pecan on top. Thank
I know.
you.
Yeah, that's okay.
The thought I love.
Yeah.
It's just too much sugar for me.
Bourbon balls. From
I didn't
Kentucky.
get drunk, so
From-
that's good.
No, you-
Yeah, no. You can taste it though.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that whole store, candy store down there. I love this little candy store. It's cute. It might be 400 square feet. That's what it
Packed
is. Yeah.
full of sugar,
Sugar
and goodness.
and chocolates, and she's always
Did you say
doing
chocolates?
chocolates.
Wow. Now you're from Boston?
Almonds. Back to
Okay.
almonds.
All right.
Hey, we created this show just for you, and it's all about education and information. It's to help you in the way of buying, selling, and investing in real estate. And today we're going to have a subject about unrepresented buyers. We're also going to review the numbers for June and then bring you up to date on year to date on how Sun Prairie is doing compared to everybody else. And it's interesting right now what's going on out in the marketplace. We're seeing, as we talked about last week with Jim Bellinger, our home inspector, that the days on market is increasing. We're seeing decreases in pricing, and so the market is shifting oh so lightly. And I'm telling you right now that if you are considering selling or buying, you need to do it today, because you've got about 45 days before real estate changes to an extent that is just going to get people's heads going in circles. And how do I know this? Because I have a team meeting every week with EXP with about 100 or 200 people and that estate agent, and they feel that they can still go ahead and buy a house, which they can legally. Legally they can, but they probably should not. And we'll get into that and explain. I don't care how many houses that you bought or sold or something like that. You always need to be represented.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember that lawyer phrase. Only a fool represents themselves or something in court. Or something like that. But let's talk about the numbers for a second and get into that. I recently saw a national stat come through, the National Association of Realtors, about May, and it showed nationally that sales were down 0.07%. And I thought, well, how does that, and that's just for the month of May. And I thought, well, how does that compare to Sun Prairie? And get this.
This was national, you said?
That's a national number.
Okay.
Get this. Sun Prairie sales for May were up 59.26%.
Up
Up.
from May of 2023?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And
Okay.
we're nationally, we're down, and locally, we are up. And in June's sales in Sun Prairie were 64% higher than May's numbers, and the pricing was up in June 7.3% compared to May. So what's that tell you? It tells you a lot, actually.
Tells you real estate is local.
Exactly. It's local.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's even more important of why you need to be working with a real estate agent. Someone to represent you, somebody that you sign a contract for. Now, currently, the way that the industry operates is that normally there is a negotiable offer of compensation to the buyer agent if you have one. And it's visible, it's transparent, it's on the multiple listing service. And so you can see that right up front right now. And it could be any percentage out there. It could be 2%, 3%, 2.5%. It could be dollar amounts. It's whatever's negotiated with the seller. And the seller's doing this as an incentive to get you to come look at their house and buy the house. Because their goal is to sell the house.
For as much money as they can.
Right.
In the easiest manner possible.
Right. For the highest and best.
Yeah.
Is what, and they want the seller, to be quite honest with you, wants highest and best and no contingencies. That's what they want. They want you to come in, give them your cash, and then let them go away. Now, in the olden days, there would be kumbaya, and we'd be, drinking coffee at a closing table and stuff like that. And today, that's not happening as often because there's concerns of liability. And who's going to say what, when, and where?
You mean if the parties are in the same room at the same time?
Yeah, you got to bend your mic down a little bit.
Is that what you mean, if they're in the same room at the same time?
Yep.
Yeah. I think, so Dane County was different. Like, in Dane County, it seemed like any title company you went to, both parties were in the same room at the same time. Which, I always thought was kind of odd that the seller's sitting there listening to the buyer's interest rate and their loan terms and all the stuff that's only the buyer's business. But then if you got outside Dane County, then they would have them separated, like seller in one room while the buyer's going over the documents, and then they would bring him in the end. And now I feel like that's happening more across the board now, and that's kind of how it should be.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. It protects all parties.
It does. And what you're talking about is a whole different thing.
Yes.
About, oh yeah, did you know that I just went and bought a boat. I just went and bought a whatever. Yeah, don't have conversations.
Yeah. No, you don't need to. Because I've experienced it. You've heard the stories right here.
Yeah. We cannot unhear things
No.
at the closing table. So if you say it, it's out there, and now we have to address it.
Yeah, and the lender, if they're a representative, they're a fiduciary to the lending agency.
Yeah.
And all parties. The realtor is a fiduciary to the person that they represent. And so, things go crazy. The days of kumbaya and telling everybody about your neighbors, that doesn't happen much anymore.
Well, I feel like it still does, but it happens kind of in the end, and it's not like all through the closing and signing of the documents. It's in the end.
Right.
And then that's where the buyer still has some opportunity to say, hey, seller, when's garbage day? Or what do you know about the neighbor to the right? Or are there any kids in the neighborhood? That kind of thing. Those are cool conversations to have.
Yeah. Oh, there are no kids in the neighborhood. Well, we have 5 kids. Maybe we shouldn't buy here. Maybe we'll back out now.
I don't think so. They would know that before then.
Deals have died before at closing tables.
Okay, find other friends.
Well, but we're being serious about that. It's an unrepresented buyer. We're going to get into that. I wanted to do something real quick, and then we'll get to this. I wanted to compare. I wanted to let you know what we did year to date so far in Sun Prairie, because we're talking a little bit about that already, and I want to get to a little bit more of how we're doing as a location, as an area. Now, for the month, sales were down 4.6%. Wow, nobody said a word.
And this is end of June numbers.
End of June numbers, and then also price was down 3.8%.
I'd kind of love to hear that.
For the $445,522.
I know it's still a crazy median price, but still, I'm glad that it's leveling off a bit.
That's average.
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah.
But year to date, here's what you need to know, is that sales are up 27.85% over the same time frame last year. So January to June 2023 compared to January to June 2024.
What now?
I know. Wow.
What? Yeah.
So sales have increased in the city of Sun Prairie. That doesn't mean Bristol, Windsor, Burke, or any of that. 27.85%. Price increased 8.3%. People are buying houses at 100%, right at the asking price, right at 100%, and it's 29 days on market.
Not over.
No.
Competing offers?
Oh, competing offers. 43% of all sold in the month of June were competing offers. So almost half.
But
So,
not quite half.
no. But what it
Interesting.
tells you is you got to do your homework. And if you don't know the market, which if you're unrepresented, you don't know the market. Because you're listening to Katie Couric or somebody, and they don't know squat. If you're listening to CBS or NBC.
What if you're listening to Charlie Shortino?
Charlie's cool.
But that's about weather.
Man,
He's not a real estate
That's the
professional.
one dude that can be right or wrong, and he's correct.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
The guy
People
can
like
be
him
wrong
anyway.
and make a fortune. He's just doing great. Love the guy. He's just awesome.
I
played
should
golf
go
with
back
him.
to school
I know.
for meteorology.
That's it. Right?
Yeah, no.
I know.
I don't think so.
But the reason I want you to know these numbers is I want you to see that our market is still hot.
Yeah.
And the demand is still there. Now, does that mean that all offers are going to be over the asking price? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. And I was trying to do that on my computer before I got here, and it shut down on me.
Dang
And I
it.
couldn't get it back
It
up.
wasn't meant to be.
I know.
Some buyers are getting accepted offers on their first time out.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Some are even getting it a little bit below asking price.
Yeah.
It's kind of all over the board right now, but I feel like it's definitely opening up. I feel like there's been more listings
Mm-hmm.
coming on the market. We've lost a lot of buyers, and maybe they've come back in, or maybe they came back in and
Yeah.
went back out because they're like, median price is
Sure.
what now? Rates are what now?
Right.
But that's why we always say don't leave the market.
Exactly.
You're going to cost yourself a ton of money if you do.
You're going to lose it.
Yeah.
It's sitting there on the table. Pick it up.
Yep.
And run with that.
It's your equity that
Exactly.
you could be building as opposed to like renting another
I know.
year. Don't do that. It's
No.
seriously
Oh my
silly, and
gosh.
that's not a sales pitch. It's just you're seriously leaving a ton of money on the table.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that 8%, in the price change and all that stuff for us here, so 8% of $400,000 is $32,000, right?
Whew, it's a
That's
lot.
how much you would have lost if you didn't buy a house.
Wow.
last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Or
that's
if
so
you bought a
much.
house last year, that's how much you've gained based on the first quarter of this year.
Yeah.
It's a wealth building program, but it's not the answer to getting rich, as people like to say. Well, I don't need to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. Good, be comfortable.
There's a difference between wealth building,
Yes.
which is part of your retirement plan, part of your overall financial planning picture. It's not about getting rich.
No.
It's about diversifying your assets, and real estate has been a consistently good one.
Yeah.
One period of time in our history that I can remember that it wasn't, but that was pretty short-lived.
That was a long time ago. Or it seems
It
like
was.
it's a long time ago.
It was.
That's when I first started.
Gutsy.
Yeah. And you know what? For me as a realtor, were some of my best years. I mean, coming out of the gate, 2006, 52 homes. That was my first year.
There was a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, you were selling
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
The people that could sell.
Right.
But anyway, that's a whole nother
Exactly.
show. Yeah.
Say, I wanted to point this out though. We've talked about pricing and all that. Things like 122 Flint Street, and that house is built 1910, sold for $10,000 under asking. 1000 Castle Drive, that house was built in 1989, 25 under asking. And so it's happening.
25 under. Why do you think that's happening?
25,000. I do not know.
Whoa.
I do not.
I mean, that's a lot in this market.
It is.
So
it might have been condition or something that they're seeing. 830 Hummingbird, day and night. Hummingbird Court in Cardinal Crest, 20,000 below asking, $530,000, and that house was built in '97. About $200 a square foot was the final number on that. And as we go up and getting a little bit higher in the 500s, 10,000 below asking, 14 below asking, another 10,000. Here's a good one in the reserve on Cordova Lane, 1881 Cordova, The asking price was $655,900, and they sold it for $605,000. $50,000, almost $51,000 drop. That's a 7% reduction. So what I'm trying to show you here is the market is shifting. If you don't know it and you don't have an intricate knowledge of the marketplace, you're going to lose. Because how many of you, if capable of buying in that 600,000 level, would go in there as unrepresented? You've been watching everybody on the news, and you know that you have to go above asking price. So you put in an offer of, I don't know, let's say 700,000 on that $655,000 house, and you buy it. Well, now you're negative already.
Well, I feel like we've talked about this a lot over the years, that it just, information takes a bit to catch up. It just does. So like interest rates going up, going down, getting used to things.
Right.
It takes a bit to catch up. The market shifts happen all the time, but people don't know. They know what they've heard in the past. So that's a perfect example. Don't listen to what you think you know. You're not on top of what's going on in the market. A real estate agent is.
Right, exactly.
They know the trends.
And so the examples I just gave you is kind of a warm-up of what we're going to talk about now. And because I just need you to be aware that the market is shifting again. It is shifting again. We've come through the spring. Now we're hitting those summer months. Normally you get a June lag. Don't forget, June numbers are actually May numbers.
Yeah.
Because what I mean by that is what's happened. June is the result of activity in May, 90% of the time. Now you're going to have a few in there that well, there was actually only 2 cash deals, so those could have been 7 days. So
2 cash deals.
2 cash deals,
Oh.
2 FHA, 1 VA.
A VA.
I know the rest were
Yay.
conventional. And so,
Wow.
so then if you hear that, what you just heard, conventional dominated the whole thing. What does that tell you? That tells you that you have time to maybe have a sale contingency in your offer when you're buying somebody else's house.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a sale contingency is, let me explain it. It's when you have to sell your house first before you can buy their house. Well, the seller wants to make sure that you're going to be able to sell your house because they want to be out in 30 days, 45 days or whatever. And if you're getting a conventional mortgage, you're going to be looking at 30 days, maybe 45 days. It's been quicker, but not everybody's Wintrust mortgage. So
I was going to say, you can do it a lot quicker than that.
Well, yeah, I get it. But you know what I'm saying here?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's opening up a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
And again, I'm coming back to this unrepresented buyer. The reason you want a representation is because a good buyer's agent, who you've signed a contract with, is actually going to reach out to that selling agent or listing agent and say, hey, what is your seller looking for other than highest and best?
Yeah.
And they
a
may
quick
say,
close,
well,
a long close.
Exactly.
Who knows what?
Hey,
Post occupancy.
They'd like to sell, but they'd like to move out in September. They've got this going on, and if you can accommodate that, now if you didn't ask that question, you have no idea.
And you don't know what to ask.
Right,
if
but-
you're representing yourself.
Exactly. Well, you don't even know to call.
No.
No.
There's so much you don't know.
Right.
That phrase, you don't know what you don't know, but there's a lot
Yeah.
you don't know in this world.
Sure.
And there's a contract in play. So
Sure.
you're kind of opening yourself up for some liability
Right.
too. I don't know where that might go.
Well, we're going there too.
Okay.
We're going to chat about that. It's going to be a good 30 minutes. People are either going to fall asleep and hang up or turn us off right
It's
now.
okay.
Because-
Fall asleep, take a nap, come back,
Yep.
and then watch it because
Yeah, I
it's
know.
recorded, right?
Exactly.
But what I like about this, and I've been waiting for, is just we've been in such a hyper competitive market that it just literally has felt unfair.
Yeah.
It is what it is. The market drives the price and drives can't come in with any contingencies at all. But we talked about that with Jim last week, that people are giving up, fine, I won't make it contingent on an appraisal. I won't have an inspection. I'll figure out how to finagle cash, and I'm going to go way over, and it's uncomfortable, but I got to have this house. Like, it creates a frenzy that to me is, one, unfair, but it just is the nature of the beast.
Right.
and puts people in a precarious position, buyers in a precarious position.
Sure.
So if that's switching, and it is, it makes me happy.
Well, you know, the thing is that did I like the market? Sometimes. Sometimes I didn't like the market. But when you know the rules and you know the playing field, you know what you're up against, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's simple, but not easy.
I don't know if I'd ever say simple.
Well, it's simple. All you gotta do is write an offer. No contingencies. There you
Oh,
go.
well, that might be
Right.
the simplest
20,000
situation.
over, you know.
I have cash.
Right.
How soon can I close?
That's true.
That's easy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Easy peasy.
lemon squeezy.
That's right. So we're going to talk about the 12 potential pivot points for buyers planning to represent themselves.
12.
Well, maybe 11. I don't know.
A baker's dozen. Can you make it 13?
You're just so good. Man, I didn't even think about that.
There you go. Add one. I'm sure you can find another one.
So this is going to be kind of for that first-time home buyer, but also for you veterans out there that have bought 2 or 3 homes. And I'm going to tell you that if you bought 2 or 3 homes and you haven't bought one in the last or sold one in the last 10 years, you're like being a rookie.
Different.
It's
yeah.
completely different, and you again, don't be unrepresented. Don't say, what is it, a penny wise and a pound foolish?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Wow, you're throwing out all the sayings today.
cliches.
Good Lord, cliches, yes.
Ooh, I love this.
Mm.
So the first one is rookie mistakes. And the rookie mistake is going through the listing agent, thinking that the seller agent or listing agent will help you through the process and has your best interest. And that's not
Helps
true.
you save money?
Well, because,
Too?
well, you think you're...
It's what people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they
but-
won't have to pay as much commission
Right.
because there'll only be one agent. And if you've listened to previous shows, you understand that the total commission's already been negotiated. It's in a contract.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be paid to that listing agent / brokerage, whether there's one agent or 2 agents.
They just get more money.
They're going to follow the terms of their listing agreement. Now, all listing agreements are negotiable. All of them. And this has been true in Wisconsin for almost 20 years that I've been doing it.
Yeah.
And so you just need to know that everything's negotiable. Everything's negotiable. Never hurts to ask. The answer could be no. And by the way, I want to talk about that real quick. A side note. Here we go, sidebar.
Okay. Squirrel.
If you're working with a realtor, and by the way, a realtor is somebody that is a member of the National Association of Realtors. If they're not, they're just a real estate agent. The realtor swears an oath to follow a code of conduct, and we live and die by that. I mean, we really, it's something that we take care of it. I mean, you make sure you do it. And believe me, there are some times I'd like just to, never mind, we won't go there.
But that's been a recent change too
Yep.
this year. Who's a part of the National Association of Realtors and who's not?
Well,
Right?
some people are quitting. Some
Yes.
people are leaving the National Association of Realtors.
Brokerages.
Are
Yes.
leaving, but not all of them.
There's been a lot of changes
Yeah.
in this industry recently. I mean, big ones.
Sure. So the reason I'm asking is that the buyers are going through the listing agent is because you think it's going to save money, like Laura said, but they just don't. Some of them just don't want to be represented, and they just assume that the listing agent or selling agent is going to be able to handle the transaction. They just want to buy the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, and it's not true.
Yeah.
To a point, it's not true. Do they have to help you with the real estate applications, procedures, and everything? Absolutely, they do. But what you need to know is that they don't have your interest, your best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. They have the seller's interest first.
That's who they have the contract with.
Right, and that comes to the second part, the seller representation on this. The listing agent works for the seller. All loyalties go to the seller. So if you're unrepresented and you say something to the listing agent about, well, what price do you think that they would take? Well, a good answer would be, well, probably about 10 or 20,000 over the asking. Well, I mean,
Of course, yeah.
So you need to know that they don't have your best interest in mind. The the templated kind of saying is you need to put your highest and best offer forward. Well,
Yeah.
what is that? Do you think they'll take that?
I can't tell you that.
I can't say that, but a buyer agent can.
Mm-hmm.
They were hired by the seller, signed a contract to sell the house, and they have to guard the best interest of the seller.
Mm-hmm.
That's what because what's the seller want? Highest and best.
Highest and best.
Highest and best.
Easiest, quickest.
Right. Now, the listing agreement is just like a buyer agency agreement, and it outlines all the responsibilities of each party. Very much like a lawyer. If you've never gone to a lawyer, never used a lawyer,
Good for you.
they will not talk to you. Well, they may talk to you. They'll interview you to see if they can take your
Consultation.
case. Correct. And then they will check for conflicts of interest.
Mhm.
They run that through their system.
Mhm.
Every attorney does this. But once they do that and they decide to represent you, then you will sign a contract. And you, a lot of times, give them a retainer. And retainers are all over the place. But listing
When the clock starts ticking, you will start paying.
Correct.
The minute they do any work for you.
Correct. Right. And then something for you to know that as of August 17th, if you're a buyer, you're going to be required to have an agreement with the agent that's showing you a house
Before you go look at anything,
before you walk in the house.
unless it's an open house.
Correct. And that's part of the listing agency agreement. Okay.
Mhm.
So, how much time we got? Oh, we got. I'm sitting here using the mouse on my computer. It just doesn't work.
No, it
Damn
doesn't.
it all. So the question is, who's got your back if you're unrepresented and you think you're working with that listing agent? And it's an easy answer. The agent broker that you've signed an agreement with. When you sign an agreement, they have your back. They're going to do things for you that you will be amazed at. In fact, they're going to do a lot of things that you don't even see because it's behind the scenes on it. A buyer agent needs to inform buyers. I think every buyer agent out there needs to inform buyers and selling agents. I can't even talk. I get excited about
Do
this.
you need a drink or what's
Well,
going on over there?
Yeah, a little swig of water.
That's it. You're just excited.
Well, I am so afraid that people are going to be taken advantage of, and they're going to get into
By
ours.
who? The listing agent?
Well, no, because of
Who?
lack of knowledge,
Yeah.
and they didn't know what questions to ask and things like that.
Yeah.
So the buyer agent needs to inform buyers that the selling agent does not have their best interest at heart. So if I'm out there and I show you a house and all that, and you go out on your own to an open house and you say, hey, I really like this house, and oh, look at all these people, I better get an offer in. Yes, that selling agent, that listing agent can write your offer, but they don't have your best interest at heart. And don't confuse activity with actual substance.
Do you think it's fair to say, and I mean every agent's going to be different, but that they don't have their best interest in mind, or just that they're not representing you?
Yeah, there you go.
So there's
Yeah.
moral and ethical, right? Like they should
Yes.
be giving you proper information, representing you, but they're just not representing you. That's
they're
the
not
thing.
representing you.
It's not that they don't care
No.
or they just
Right.
contractually they're not representing you.
Right. It's like an attorney. I mean, two attorneys are fighting in court and all that stuff.
Mhm.
They're not friends. Oh, they might be friends outside of the court, but in court, they're there to do battle.
Yeah.
And so
For you, because they're representing you.
For you,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, no representation, no worries. No worries. Even with disclosures from listing agents, they cannot advise the buyer, but will provide enough guidance to make sure the transaction does not fall apart. So they're only going to tell you what they need you to know to get the transaction finished. And that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like I'm painting a very negative picture about listing agents. I am one. I'm not. I'm just trying to show you what the duties and responsibilities are to that person that has the sign in the yard that you're walking into an open house.
Yeah.
And that you're so pumped about it and you want to see it, but you've decided not to work with an agent because you're worried about maybe paying a commission, or commission not being paid for by the seller or something like that. And that's coming up in August.
It is, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying to you. If you're looking to buy or sell a home right now, you need to get out there and get it done before August 17th. Honest to gosh. If you're a listing agent, if you're selling your house, get it on the market, throw out that offer of compensation, throw the hook out there, put a little bait on it, and then get it done.
Mm-hmm.
If you're that buyer agent or buyer, you already know the compensation's covered. You know what's being offered by the seller. That makes your life easier.
Yeah, this is just a matter of most people not knowing because they don't live in this world and they just don't do this for a living. But for the people who do know, I don't know why you would choose now to not use a buyer's agent, because you get the representation, you get the advice.
Yeah.
You're not paying for it currently. The seller is.
Yeah.
But that is about to change in August.
Yep.
So can you still negotiate it? Yes.
The agent won't negotiate it with you. You can negotiate with the listing agent, but they're not going to help you.
If you have a buyer's agent,
If you have a buyer's
right,
agent,
they
they
can help
will
you
negotiate.
that in the price with the seller.
Absolutely.
But right now,
Yeah.
your commission, your agent's commission is paid for by the seller.
Yes.
Don't know why anybody right now wouldn't want to work with a buyer's agent.
You know, I love how you said that. And yes, you can describe it. Yes, the seller is paying it. What I say,
The broker.
The broker's actually paying it. And so
seller's side, but it is the broker.
So when all this was happening with the lawsuits and they call it the lack of transparency, which I think it's going to be worse now. But I don't know how much more transparent you can get. You look on the MLS, it says here's the buyer agent compensation and sub-agent.
Yeah.
Sub-agent's going to go away. That's a whole different show.
And now none of that's going to be out there.
No.
Or
Nope.
I don't understand that.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. But here, you and I have a client that we're working with that recently put an offer on a home in Columbus. Remember this?
Why do I not?
Principal Scott.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to use any names.
Okay.
And I apologize because
Sorry,
they have confidentiality. So. So, but here's the thing about having that buyer agent. This buyer would have paid anything for this house.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to the family, I said, I like what you're offering. Don't go any higher. I said, I'm concerned about the location on the golf course. On the golf course.
Oh.
And it was in a floodplain.
Oh, yes.
Guess what happened?
What, did it fall
It
apart?
flooded. The whole neighborhood was underwater.
Oh.
So can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Wow.
So things happen. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just scenario. Listen to your buyer agent. You can do what you want to do, and you will. And a good buyer agent will say to you, you can do as you see fit, but I'm advising you yay or nay.
Yeah, it's not the realtor's decision, it's yours.
Right.
But it is their job to guide you and advise you and kind of make you aware of things that you just don't know about.
Right. I have another one, client that we're working with. You and I are working with also, doctors, that we looked at a house in Lodi, and I'm a nay on it. I'm thumbs down on it. And the reason is the driveway is so steep, and it's up on a hill.
Winter in Wisconsin.
Winter in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they said, and the comment was, well, we don't mind that because of our trucks and all that.
We'll put chains on our tires.
They said, no problem.
Every time we pull in. And
I said, yeah, but the problem isn't you buying this. It's when you sell it.
Yeah.
You're going to accept this thing, and you're going to also accept it again.
Yeah, that's what makes me wonder about all the people that got caught up in this frenzy that we've been in the last couple of years. I have to have the house.
Right.
Do you just have to have a house, and why do you? And I wonder if there's remorse. What'd you say?
They've been listening to us. Buy a house, you'll make money.
Well, this is true, yes, but I got to believe there's probably some remorse out there, and like, man, I wish I would have thought about that. I didn't think about that.
Oh my goodness. Don Griffin, thanks, buddy. Great show, you two.
Oh, thanks, Don.
So let's talk about, let's say that now you're unrepresented, but you're going to write an offer. Now, can you do that? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can actually go to the Wisconsin Realtors Association, and you can pull the forms off the site for free, because they are state-approved forms that I pay for.
You and
every other realtor in the state. But you can use those, and you can complete the documents And no agent, no realtor can tell you how to complete that document. If you don't have an agreement,
Yeah.
they cannot tell you how to complete that because they don't represent you.
There's no signed contract, buyer
No.
agency contract.
No, you have no contract. Your buddy down the street who's a realtor and sells 3 houses a year would be shot if he helped you do that.
Well, I think that's a little dramatic.
I know, but it's an
Yeah.
ethics violation.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Too many details to follow for someone that's not familiar with these documents. Yeah, you can make up stuff in the boxes and all that, but sometimes there's strategies involved with how you complete the documents.
In a market like this, there's
Oh, yeah.
a lot of strategies.
Oh yeah.
Not sometimes, I would say in every
Oh, yeah.
case. If you're good at what you do,
Right.
there should be.
I mean, I had a buyer. It was a cash buyer, and I forgot what I was going to say. I lost the whole thing. Oh, they wanted me to go like $20,000 under the asking price
Under?
in Sun Prairie. And I said, "You're not going to get that house." Well, I want to see what they'll do. I said, "They're not going to respond."
Were
to
there
your offer."
competing offers already?
Yeah. Oh, it was a hot
No,
property.
then no.
I
Come
said
on.
it's not, and then I call the agent like I do every time I'm going to submit an offer, and I say, "Do you have any offers in hand?"
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between do you have any offers
It's coming.
or offers in
No,
hand.
yeah.
And so this one they had several offers, and
Yeah.
I said, "I'll complete this for you. It's a waste of my time and a waste of your time." Yeah, but I just don't think that I should pay what they said. No, you don't. Let's just go to another house. Find one that you can afford. What do you mean afford? I just don't want to pay that price. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Verbiage.
I know.
Be careful.
Well, no, I did it on purpose, but it was
I
the
know.
point was here's what the market is.
Yeah. Yes. Don't think you're going to get a deal. You're not going to get a deal, but you could.
Oh, you could.
There are people getting
there's
them
deals.
under.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about knowing the comps.
Yeah.
What is this home worth right now based on recent sales?
Yep.
That's what you can help with.
Right.
The average buyer, what are you going to do? Go on Zillow? And
Could
that's
be.
how you're going to decide what the house is worth?
Could be.
That's not a good
Yeah.
source.
So picture this, would you? You're in the open house and you love this house and you want to write an offer. Well, the listing agent pulls out an offer and says, "Here you go, fill her out." And then it happens. Because the unrepresented buyer will always ask about the implications of how their offer is structured. In other words, how to get out of it.
You have an attorney?
And the listing agent can't answer it.
Right.
Because
You need an attorney.
who do they represent?
The seller.
Exactly. Now there's another thing, it's called dual agency. Dual agency is where the listing agent also has a buyer agent contract. So you have two entities buying for the same property. One's selling, one's buying. For me, it's the most difficult agency agreement because in our state, the law says that we have to go neutral.
That's not fair to the
Either
other
party,
parties.
right?
Yeah.
So nobody's represented there. Now there could be a situation where you've got two very experienced buyers or investors or something like that, and it's a cash deal, and they know their stuff, and that might be. But still, in this situation, what I would do is I would hand it to another agent, and I'd still get a referral.
Right.
I still get paid a little bit on that, but handing it off to somebody who will actually represent them is the way to go.
For the best interest of the clients involved.
All clients.
Yes.
Right.
But I'm sure a lot of realtors would be like, well, why would I do that?
Well,
Because
sure.
I could earn commission off both of you.
Yeah.
Can't help you either as
Right.
much as I normally would, but it's about me and I need the money.
Right. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
Just be aware.
So how about, we're talking about the implications of a structured offer or how to structure an offer and that. The liability associated with that is huge for a realtor. And why you would want to do that, just to jump in and help a little bit, oh my gosh. Well, the listing agent told me what to do on this.
How's that go? Oh. But there's a lot of people that have always felt like a realtor is like a really well-paid tour guide. That's all you do. You just show properties and you have fun driving around in your cars and stuff.
Oh, I'll be the first one to tell you, there's a lot of them.
That do that?
There's a lot of tour guides. that are called realtors.
Yeah.
There are.
Mhm.
They don't take time to learn their craft.
Yeah.
They don't take time to learn their markets.
Yeah.
They want to be everything to everybody. And you can't be that way. I don't think you can be that way and truly represent your client.
No. You have to be on top of what's going on in the
Right.
market, trends, strategies, knowing your numbers,
Knowing your
all
numbers.
of it. Yeah.
Knowing your numbers.
Mhm.
You know. Negotiations can be tough even for a skilled agent out there, and if you don't know how to negotiate, it could be a real problem if you're unrepresented. And what I mean by negotiation, it isn't always about price. It could be terms, it could be twist, it could be how you can turn that or spin that or something like that. Is it by increasing the price to get things to close, or something like? I'll give you an example. If you're working with a buyer agent after August 17th, you know the buyer agent is going to actually ask for compensation based upon what your contract says. First of all, they're going to say, is the seller offering compensation? If they say no, then they're going to write in the offer to seller to pay seller some wording on that. Compensation, buyer agency compensation, or concession. A seller concession for blah. Or you're going to pay as a buyer's agent.
This is why the shifting market, if it continues, meaning houses sit on the market a little bit longer, prices normalize a little bit, this timing is really good, because after this all comes into play, then this was my worry all along, that a buyer would come along and the buyer's agent, hopefully they have one, goes to the seller, says, I need to know if the seller will compensate me, you know, and they'll say, you know, no, I have 16 other offers that aren't asking me for that, so too bad. And where does that leave the buyer? They don't have the money to pay the agent, seller won't do it, too competitive. So I hope that the timing works out well for these changes.
They're going to come to you as the lender and say, just put this in on my name, and
Yeah.
you guys are going to do it.
So, and that's what's so dumb, right? Because the whole idea was that people were overpaying and, you know, because of commissions. Well, this doesn't change any of that.
No.
It's so dumb.
No. Yeah, the whole thing about this lawsuit was that it would drop prices down. Guess what? It ain't happening. There's no flipping way, and I don't know what they were drinking or smoking or whatever.
They didn't take econ.
Oh my gosh.
That's the problem.
There is no inventory out there.
Right.
And if your interest rates drop 1%, it's going to get worse.
Woo.
It's going to be like open up the floodgates and let it flow. And I'm hoping that I have enough ink in my pens to write all those offers. Oh my gosh.
You don't write with pens anymore.
I do. I have
on.
pens actually.
Yeah, but you don't write offers with pens.
No, I don't.
It's on a computer. Yes.
My handwriting is beautiful. Though.
It is. Right. My gosh, yes.
Now, here's the thing I want you to know about this negotiation, and if as a listing agent, one of the things I have a problem with is because I don't have an experienced realtor on the other side, or a buyer's agent. I'm the selling agent, the listing agent, same person. And so I'm having to guide them at times to get things done. Maybe they don't understand deadlines. Maybe they didn't bring me their earnest money on time. Maybe they didn't inspect the house in 14 days. They wanted to
They
do it
need a loan, and they missed the loan commitment date.
They missed the loan commitment.
Then what happens? For the buyers out there, if you don't meet these deadlines in the contract, what does that mean?
The seller has the right to cancel the contract.
You just lost your house, potentially.
Could and possibly your earnest money.
Yeah.
You know, so it's interesting. It's just unrepresented is a recipe for disaster with negotiation. And sellers are looking for the highest and best price. So let's say that I have an unrepresented buyer, it's highest and best price, it's there, but they're unrepresented. That would bother me because it means I'm going to have to babysit them, like we were just saying. And there's no way of knowing what's going to happen.
What's your motivation to babysit, though? What if you're the listing agent, buyer's unrepresented, you've got a contract in play, and they're really not on top of stuff, and you know it because they don't know any better. And you've got another buyer that comes in after the fact and says, oh, anything falls through. I
Mm.
don't know if you can be in secondary position, but either way, what if they know of another really good offer
Uh-huh.
that they could take?
Yeah.
What's their motivation to help keep you on track as a
There
buyer?
isn't one.
They don't have any obligation to you. They don't have any responsibility
Sure.
to you. They do
Right.
to the seller.
Great point, and it's my next thing that I was going to talk about
It's
is,
like I'm clairvoyant.
I know,
Wow.
is that in our market we've had competing offers. We said, what is it, 42, 43%?
Yes.
So the listing agent has 4 unrepresented buyers.
Oof.
How do they handle that? Who wins? Who wins?
Hmm.
So keep that
A
in
lot
mind.
more documentation, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
CYA, you better be
Yeah.
covering your behinds and like,
yeah.
why did you choose that? I don't know. I
Mhm.
can just see all kinds of
Yeah,
things
exactly.
coming out of this.
Right. And so what I do as a listing agent, I'm giving them the disclosure to customers. It's a state form that says, I don't represent you,
Yeah.
that you are unrepresented.
So
You're
it's
ju-
clearly noted
Right.
that, yeah,
So
they
I-
know,
well,
you
I'm
know.
covering my butt.
Yeah.
I like working, Gotta have a license to sell houses.
Well, yeah.
As Foghorn Leghorn would say.
I
Boy's
thought
about
that's
as
what
sharp
was
as a
coming.
bowling ball. So the financing is one area where things can fall apart because of the
Oh,
lack
yeah.
of guidance, especially in the current market with the high rates, tight loan qualifications, and then also which loan program works.
Mm.
And that's something that an expert's going to help with. And I'll tell you right now, you're unrepresented and you're with Rocket Mortgage with me, I'm going to have a very heart-to-heart conversation with the seller. And I may say to the buyer, I appreciate you're working with Rocket Mortgage. We'd like you to consider a local mortgage company.
That's been a thing for a while.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because I need to be able to see, talk, and know that there's a human, not a bot or anything, that is going to be hopefully answering my questions, So you got to do that. And if unrepresented, you got nobody watching your back again.
Yeah.
Let's move to inspections. Here's a great one. And Jim really shared a lot last week about it. But as a listing agent, as a seller, we want highest and best and no contingencies. That means as is. They don't want to have home inspections and stuff like that. They're afraid of what you're going to find. Not that they're hiding anything, but
Depending on the loan program, but I'm not sure there's a lot of information about what all this means, if people even know that.
Well, what did you just say? Did you just say that there are some loans out there that require home inspection?
Mini inspection is part of the appraisal.
Well,
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Conventional mortgage?
Nope.
FHA?
Yep.
VA?
Yep. USDA.
USDA?
Yep.
All of those have to have a home inspection.
Well, there's a mini inspection built into the appraisal.
So the appraiser's going to go out and he or she's going
There's
to
certain
take a
things
look.
they have to look for, like
Okay.
chipping, peeling paint, and missing hand railings on flights of stairs, and CO and smoke detectors, things like that.
Okay.
So if you have those things, what it means is you're going to have to get them taken care of prior to the closing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's concerned about it. Who do you hire for the home inspection? Is it Jim Bellinger? Or is it Uncle Joe, who worked 30 years in construction? Well, the offer to purchase says it's got to be a licensed home inspector.
Hmm.
But if you don't know the contract and you don't follow it, and you just have Uncle Joe come out there for, buy him give him a 6-pack or something, or a case of beer, it ain't
Pizza
gonna
and
work.
beer. Yeah.
And what happens is you now lose.
Well, you can have Uncle Joe do it after you buy the home if you're really
Yeah.
confident in Uncle Joe, but you can't have Uncle Joe do it and come back and go, hey, that's a defect. Uncle
Right.
Joe can't say if it's a
Right.
defect or not. He's not licensed.
Right. What inspections are you going to do? What testing are you going to
Yeah.
do? Understanding the process and the whole thing and how it works. Seller is going to provide you with disclosures in most cases, but it's the other things that you have to look for.
Yeah, because going back to loan programs, what if there's a well and septic inspection that needs to be done,
Yeah.
a safe water test,
Yeah.
or a pest inspection,
Yeah.
or who knows what?
Yeah, and guess what? The listing agent's not going to point out things unless it's a defect. And if it's a defect, it's already on the real estate condition report.
And do you
or
even
an
know anything
amendment.
about that?
Pardon?
Do buyers even understand the real estate condition report and how it matters to them?
They don't.
Yeah.
They do not. It's about defects and learning about your home. It's not about the cracked light plate cover, switch plate cover thing to do that. Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of things that go on with a home inspector, and if you don't have guidance in that, I've seen people lose houses because they write a yellow pages book about all things to fix, and like, hell to the no. You know, it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
there you have it. And then the repairs. How do you address the repairs? Did you even know that seller could do repairs?
Right to cure?
Right, pardon?
Right to cure?
Right to cure. Right not to
Do you know
cure.
what that means?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's so many things in here. And then I love how people say, if I'm the listing agent, they'll go, yeah, well, I found some things over there. We're going to ask for a $20,000 credit. And I'm like, and how did you come up with that number? Well, you know,
everything's expensive.
It's expensive out there. You know, you got to run down to Maynard's and get stuff. You know, it's going to cost a lot of money. You know, and then you got people. You know, but then when I do the cost analysis and get the actual quotes, it's $2,000.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
little buffer in there
little
though,
buffer. But
for inflation,
right?
you know.
And then who does the repairs? Can Uncle Joe do the repairs, or does it have to be
licensed.
a licensed HVAC person?
Is it an electrical issue?
Electric.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who's doing the repairs on that? And
Yeah.
if you don't define it, it ain't gonna happen.
Right.
Insurance. Knowing the insurance that you're gonna have to get, like this house we were talking about in Columbus, that was gonna be flood insurance, and flood insurance is about twice the price as regular insurance.
Depends on the floodplain.
Right.
Does it have knob and tube?
Oh, there's another one. Right.
Columbus has a lot of older homes,
Oh, yeah.
historic homes. What if it does? Is
I
it
know, right?
functioning? Is it not? Is it a problem? Is
Right.
it not? Yeah.
Wow. So it's
So many things.
So many things in there. And then appraisal. What happens if the appraisal comes in
Low.
less or more? What happens? I mean, what are your choices?
Mhm.
You can either, and if you don't have the guidance to do that, you would go, well, okay, I guess we'll make up the price on this with my lender. Or the lender says, yes, you'll need to bring an extra $5,000 to closing.
Yeah.
When you actually had a right to cure that. Now, right to cure means the seller could still go, no.
So what I can envision a lot of lenders saying, or spiel, right? Because we say all the time, well, we're not attorneys. We can't advise on legal matters. We're not accountants, financial planners. We're also going to have to add in, we're not real estate agents.
No.
So we can tell you loan guidelines, but we cannot advise you on all the pieces that are involved in a real estate transaction, because that's not what we do.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. Same thing with us. You know?
Yeah.
So a buyer without representation to me is like a train wreck. It's like
Sure
a
could
train
be.
wreck, man. And it's you're just waiting for it to happen.
Mhm.
You're just sitting there waiting for it. And the listing agent can only do so much by law, and they're going to do whatever they can to try and get the transaction to close. But I hope that going through this whole thing, since we've only got a couple minutes left, I hope I got the point across that you gotta have that buyer agent.
Mhm.
And I'm not just promoting real estate agents, I'm helping cover your butt.
Well, you
Protect
need
you.
them. So just like lenders, just like anybody you work with, have a list
Yeah.
of questions
Right.
and interview.
Yeah.
Find out what they're going to do for you and how they do it different than the others.
Right.
And then pick somebody that you feel you can work
Sure.
well with.
Sure.
That's who you sign a contract with.
Yeah, that's why right now they're looking at the DOJ, the wording they have about before somebody can see a house, they have to have an agreement in place.
Mhm.
They're actually looking at like a pre buyer agency agreement.
Really?
Yeah, because
Test the waters a bit?
I may meet you as a buyer and go, yeah, I don't want to work with you, or versa versa.
Can't you always, though, let somebody out? It doesn't mean that you will let a buyer
It's
out.
not unilateral. I mean, you can't just.
Yeah.
Go, I don't want to work with you anymore.
It's
They
a
go-
contract
they're
in
like,
play.
Sorry, I have a contract with you. You're going to represent me. You're going to do what you're told.
But why would you want to work with a buyer who doesn't want to work with you?
Yeah, you don't.
That's just silly. Let it go.
You don't.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know, right?
Just remember, buyers, that when this goes into effect, August 17th,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
you cannot go see a home without having a buyer agency contract with a realtor. You can go to an open house, but if that doesn't fit your schedule and you want to go look at it, you can't just do that anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. Did I get the music here? Oh, let's see.
There it is.
Hey,
Woo.
Sun Prairie, thanks for listening. Auto? Okay, we're going to go to auto. Thanks for listening today. I really appreciate it. Real estate is very important in your life. It's probably the largest investment that you'll make. And it can be stressful, but if you get the right help, if you get the right lender, if you get the right realtor, the support staff around you, that team of experts that are really watching your back, it can be a lot of fun. But it is going to be a little bit of stress. Our job is to limit the amount of stress that you go through with each transaction. So I hope that Laura and I have given you some information today that's going to help you. And you can always reach out to either one of us and ask any questions that you want. I'm at bill@thebakerrealtygroup.com. Laura's at
L. Stanfield at wintrustmortgage.com. You can just go to laurastanfield.com.
There
It's
you go.
all there.
I love that.
Keep
Let's
it
open
simple.
that. And we're always around. Catch us anywhere. Normally you'll see us at Buccanettes, but we're all out and about and around. And so we're here to help you, and there's no obligation, of course. So there's never a stupid question. So until next time, we will see you right back here on the radio. Thanks, Sun Prairie.
By Sun Prairie.